Look at this, cross-platform.
Yeah, the professional thing to do would be not to call attention to it.
Well, that's no fun at all. Right, review number 3 is actually from the London Film Festival, which I had the pleasure of going to the last month
Ooh,
or so.
la-di-da! Oh, I went to the London Film Festival.
See, this is Harrison's
You're
real
going to do this all the way
personality.
through?
This is Harrison's real personality finally breaking into the radio.
A minute ago you were complaining that we were professional.
Professionalism. Yeah. Oh, I went to London with the professionals.
Are you finished yet?
Yeah.
Can I do the review
what
now?
happened when Ben went to the London.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Jack's interested.
Yeah.
Basically... Please stop laughing.
Okay.
Ben Wheatley's latest film, High Rise, starring... I feel like this is a kind of a Tom Hiddleston dub feature, because we just reviewed Crimson Peak, which co-stars Tom Hiddleston's bum. Hiddlesbum. And High Rise also co-stars Tom Hiddleston's bum, but in a very completely different light. It's an adaptation of a J.G. Ballard novel. No, honestly.
Different light.
You mean
It's
like
a blue
tone?
light, not an orange light this time, guys. The cinematography.
Am I actually going to be allowed to
brilliant.
review this film? Or
Continue,
is it going to be you
continue.
guys? Okay.
Sorry.
You were the one that
Continue.
brought up the bum.
Right, High Rise, directed by Ben Wheatley, adaptation of a J.G. Ballard novel, one that I kind of fell in love with as a teenager. It's about a high-rise apartment block somewhere in London in a kind of semi-dystopian near future. And this apartment block basically has kind of everything in it. It has supermarkets, schools, swimming pools. The idea is that it's kind of everything you need to live with. So the people in the apartment block kind of stop leaving the apartment block, and the whole thing kind of turns into this weird tribal warfare when the people on the lower floors, who are poorer and pay less for their apartments, begin to get annoyed with the richer people who live on the upper floors because they're stealing all the electricity. And it turns into this kind of interclass war, tribal conflict thing, and everyone kind of goes crazy and starts sleeping with each other and starts murdering each other, and it's all very, very nuts very quickly. It's almost like the flick of a switch. But it was also kind of pretty incredible as well. It's not a normal film by any stretch of the imagination. Nothing remotely normal happens at any point, other than maybe Tom Hiddleston paints a wall, I think. There's a big focus
That
on a
sounds
can
crazy.
of paint. There is a big focus on a can of paint. One of the best lines of the whole film is him beating a guy to a pulp over a can of paint, just so you can say, that's my paint. It's a can of grey paint.
Would you kind of... It sounds a bit like just the building... It's kind of like halfway between The Raid and Snowpiercer, is what it sounds like.
They are very, very generous comparisons.
Generous.
It's significantly duller than both of those movies.
Oh, great.
It's like, the violence is more kind of like, he pushed me, so I'm going to cut his face open. It's a lot more kind of scrappy rather than organised. Like, The Raid and Snowpiercer feel like they're choreographed.
Right,
This is just people jumping on top of each other.
Is
and,
that
like,
the...
So it just feels like...
point, though?
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the point of it, but
It's just humans gone wild, basically.
Yeah, humans gone wild. That's essentially it. But it's done very, very well. The dialogue is incredible. All of the acting is seriously on point. Tom Hiddleston's the lead, and he's pretty great. And he kind of holds the whole thing together. He's kind of the audience conduit, the kind of thing, the person you experience everything through. And Jeremy Irons is kind of the villain almost. He's the architect that built the office block and kind of the one that everyone wants dead. He's interesting because he's kind of very detestable. And then Luke Evans is kind of this weird thin line in between.
Good old Luke. He's
Good old Luke Evans.
Worse than Charlie Hunnam. He's
No,
more.
he's not.
I'm trying to remember who
I
he
like
is.
Luke Evans.
Exactly.
I really like.
exactly.
He was the bard in The Hobbit.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's the thing.
Dracula in
that.
Dracula Untold.
He has got personality to it. In this movie specifically, actually, he's very wild and all over the place. He's kind of the leader of the kind of lower class revolt. And and the violence in it sort of, it's almost, I mean, it is tribal, but it comes from a very kind of creative place in terms of the way they shoot it as well. There's a lot of bright colours and interesting ways to shoot things. And also, we played this last week, and I talked about this last week, but it has an incredible soundtrack as well, one of which being Portishead's cover of ABBA's SOS, which has one of the most haunting montages I've seen in ages. And just the soundtrack overall is really great as well, because it has this kind of near semi-70s look to it, where it's supposed to be set in the near future, but it's not, and it's just a remarkable film.
It does sound like you're kind of withholding some issues, though.
I wouldn't say withholding, because the issues are basically not everyone is going to like this film. It is very messy. It's it's very nuts, and it doesn't help you through any of the madness at all.
So it's a bit too rough around the edges, a bit too unclear.
Yeah, at times it's unclear, and it is. I mean, Ben Wheatley's made some strange films. Like A Field in England is just a load of Civil War deserters wild on mushrooms for like however long, an hour and a half, and it is just kind of like hallucinations for an hour and a half. This feels less accessible than that. So this is definitely not a film that a lot of people will like.
Yeah.
But I think because I love the idea, the setup so much, I was kind of on board the whole time. But there is a lot of stuff that just kind of happens very randomly for no reason that will frustrate a lot of people. There's not a clear narrative either. So yeah,
So
that's
what would
the
your
way
rating
you
be?
that's the way you sell High Rise. I'm going to go with somewhere between an 8 and a 9, but I think I'll round up to a 9 just because I do love Ben Wheatley and the whole kind of concept so much. But in my written review I gave it 4 stars. It's by no means a perfect film, and it's definitely not a film that a lot of people will connect with. But I think it's an interesting, and it's a very, very unique film as well. So anyway, that's High Rise.
That's no, you. I mean, it made me want to watch it actually a bit.
Really?
More.
See,
Yeah.
he kind of, I not because of
I
what
know,
you said,
I know, it's just 'cause
your
the way the
whole
film
like
is.
it's not accessible thing kind
Yeah.
of turned me away from it a little.
Yeah.
It makes me want to try.
See, it made me actively kind of think, I don't want to be annoyed for 2 hours or however long it is.
Oh.
Right. So
Right, should we? That's the third and final review done.
yes, now we can
Look
just
at
go
us.
back
We're
to
a
talking
proper
about
review
nothing.
show. Yeah, we can go back to
Yeah.
kind of chatting about nothing. Should we kind of?
But we'll do
move
that
into
after the
another
next song.
Because we've got a little surprise for Harrison.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
worried
yeah,
about
so
it. I'm
you-
frightened.
This
So the final
is
song we were going to play.
we were going to play "Back in Time" by Huey Lewis and the News from the Back to the Future soundtrack, but having typed in "Back in Time," Jack has found
It's the Men in Black song, isn't it? The Pitbull one.
It's Pitbull. Yeah, Pitbull does a song called "Back in Time." So shall we play one then the other, or shall
It's
we
got
just
the
do...
Dirty Dancing theme. Not the Dirty Dancing.
Okay,
it's
so
got Dirty
we'll
Dancing
do the
music
bad
too.
one, and then we'll do the good one.
Let's
shall
play
we?
a little bit of Pitbull. Here's
Yeah,
Pitbull's
just-
"Back in Time."
Nostalgia.